Recording in progress.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Art 196, an introduction to designing web graphics for the spring semester 2022. Today, we're going to be working on two things. One is I will continue for a short time working with Lesson 9 and tables where we left off last Thursday. There was a little bit more styling that we had to do with this one table. We have one more table that we're going to tabular data that we're going to import in style, but I don't want to complete that today. I will complete it Thursday. What I wanted to focus on after we work on this first one for a little bit, there's a couple more styles that we need to add to it. Styling, mostly the column widths. But after that, everyone should know that your Mobirise website is due Thursday. There are two different ways of publishing it. So that's what I wanted to focus on. It'll be like your Wix website, and that once the website is completed, you will publish it and you will just simply email me a link to your website. But in our particular instance, there's two different ways to publish it for free. Okay, one will be through your infinityfree.net account, and the other one will be through the Mobirise account. The Mobirise account is much easier, but it doesn't look quite as nice because they have a big banner ad along the top. So anyway, those are the two things that we'll be working on. So let me review a little bit on the tables. The last thing that we were working on with tables was styling the columns. Okay, and to do that, I went over here to our CSS designer and made sure that I had green styles, global selected, and that our table was wrapped in a section tag. So what we did here is I added a section for the date column, a section class for the event, a section for location, and one also for cost. And then if you recall down here in the properties panel, I would have to go back, switch to design view to see what I wanted to do here. And then if I clicked and I dragged and I highlighted the entire column, once I had created that class, I wanted to go over here in the class and I wanted to find it. Now, because I'm publishing for all of you and I'm streaming online, it really slows things down tremendously. So after our class on Thursday, I went ahead and you can see that the column for here is the class is event. If I select this column here, the class will be section space dot date. If I select this one here, we have a class for the location, and the last one over here is we have a class for the cost. There's only a couple more things that we need to do to this, and one will be to specify a width for the date right now, and also we're going to change a couple of settings for the cost. So for the date, I'm going to go ahead and I say select section for date, and let me switch back to that. In order to select the column, it's best that you're in design view. But now that I've already assigned a section or a class to the column, now I can go back to live view, and I'll go ahead and if I set section date, you'll notice that it all highlights in blue. That's a good thing. That's what we want to see. Okay, now what I can do is for the column width here, it will be in M's. Okay, so we're going to specify 6 M's for this, and maybe we will or we won't see a difference. So I'm going to go ahead and select it. Right now it's set to 0, and I'm going to go ahead and reset it to 6. Hit the tab key and see if we see any difference. And it tightens it up just a little bit. We don't need quite as much space. Then the width for the date will also be, oh, wait a minute, that's what we just did. We want to do next the cost. And the cost doesn't need to have quite so much space. So we're going to change it to 4 M's. So let's go ahead and select the cost class. And again, notice that it's highlighting it in blue, a good sign. That lets you know that it should affect it. Now, what I want to do is come with, again, green styles, global, and section.cost selected. Under the width, again, I'm going to specify, this time it will be also an M's, but it'll only be 4 M's. Okay, and it should shrink down. You'll notice that it shrunk down just a little bit, giving the location and the event a little bit more space in our table. The last thing that they want us to do for the text in there is that we want it to be centered. Now, right now, you'll notice everything by default is flush left. So what I want to do is I'm going to select for that particular class, section.cost, I'll select center, and it will take a moment. And you'll notice everything is centered up. Does it have to be that? No, I think it looks better when it is. As I mentioned before, I think they've done really a stellar job in designing the table for this particular part of the lesson. So the next thing that I want to do before my computer crashes or anything else, I'm going to make sure that I select Save All, so that it not only saves the page, but it saves the all of the styles as well, or CSS styles. So I'm going to go ahead and say Save All. And I should be, it's taking a moment here. And we're set to go. Now, as I said, we have one more that we're going to do, one more table that we will be adding, but we're going to do that on Thursday. What I want to focus on now, let me go ahead and move this over. Wrong way. There we go. Let's go back to Mobirise. So there's 2 different ways that you can publish this. I have a couple of websites that I built for this class that are just simply one-page websites. And I can, from this one here, this is one that's already published, you can see that I have, it's one page, but from my links, I can link to any section on the page. So if I click home, notice it slides back up to home. If I click on About Us, it scrolls down to About Us, to that section. Profile, this is not a bad idea to do if you're using, in fact, it's an excellent idea to use this if you have a one-page website, so the user doesn't have to scroll up and down. The nav bar is fixed to the top, so it makes it easy for the viewer to to scroll and to see, or they don't have to scroll, but to select any particular section they want on the fly. Very easy to do in Mobirise. Well, as I said, what I want to do now is, how did I publish this? And you can see that it's using my infinityfree.com account. Well, in order to publish this, I'm going to go back up here and I'm going to show you in Mobirise how to publish this. So you'll notice at the top, the little icons that we have is, how is this going to look for a cell phone? How is it going to look on a tablet? How is it going to look on a tablet horizontal? How is it going to look on a large screen? And that's what we've been designing this for principally. Over here, we can select preview and it will preview in a browser. What we want to do now is to publish this. So that's the focus of our of the class today. So if I click on publish, a little dialog box pops up, and I have three options. One is if you want to use Mobirise to publish it, okay? And this would be the name of your website, and it would be also, they would assign to it, and the URL, and here is, it would be at .mobyrise.com. If you have a local folder, we can publish it there. Now to use, that would be another option. And right now I have this one saved in a folder, and it's the same folder that I have that I've been saving this file in on my computer. The third option is if you want to use FTP, and you would publish it if you knew the address in the root folder for whoever is hosting your website. So I'm going to show you Mobyrise and local drive folder today. Let's start with the local drive folder. And you'll notice that it is where I have saved it. Okay, it's under users, Kirk Brian Miller, documents, Kirk, web files. It's nested in within a bunch of folders. So if I go ahead here and I double click on my hard drive, we can see that I have, if I look in, where are we here? If I go into documents, this is where I saved mine. Where you save yours, I don't know. Then it would be under Kirk. And then if I scroll down again, it would be under web files. And then the last one, it would be probably my Mobirise 2021. Okay. So this is where I saved my Mobirise project. It creates the screenshot for us. The only, this would be for pages 1 and 2. I didn't realize I had 2 pages here. Anyway, if you have multiple pages, they would be here, and you have a folder for your assets. Now, leave the folder alone. Notice within that, it has a folder for our bootstrap. It has a folder for Dropdown, and some of these are used, some of them are not. It will specify the theme in here. It will all of the images that you have imported, they will be located in the image folder. Okay, so the only thing that you need to do is you need to take the assets folder. If there is an extra HTML, an index folder, and apparently I have a page 2 here, and I need to upload those. For most of you, there will only be an index page and an assets folder, and that's it. Okay, so what you do next is, let me move this over here so we can see a little bit better. I'm going to go ahead and let's close this. Well, if I've made any changes, you can go ahead and you can publish it to that folder, and this is what will the result that you'll have. Okay, it will take all of these folders and place them inside the same folder that contains the project folder here, or the project file, I should say. Okay, now once that has been published, and you just click publish, I don't need to do that because I've already published it. Then what we need to do, let's go back again. I need to bring that back up because I'm going to go to, let's go ahead and bring this down here. I'm going to go to our account here for this particular website, and Infinity Free allows you to publish three separate websites. So if you created one for your lessons, you can go ahead and you can create a new website for your a new website for your Mobyrise website. And then I can go ahead here and I can select the file manager, just as we had done before. Now, remember, we have the HT access, we have HT override, and it says do not put upload files here. But if I click here and I open up the HT docs, you can see that I have the assets folder. Here's an index.html page, and here's the second page that they created, index2.html. This one we could get rid of if we needed to, but there's really one folder and one file that I needed to upload, and that was it. How do you upload it? Again, as we did before, I can click here and I can select upload files, or I can upload folder. So if we start with the folder and I click here, it will prompt me. And again, I need to now go to the same folder that I just showed you. I'm going to go into documents. I'm going to go to my folder that says Kirk. I'm going to go into my folder that says web files. I'm going to go back into Mobirise. I have some new and old. Here's the Mobirise 2021. Okay, so this is the last one that I created. And here they are. Okay, here's this whole folder is in here. And the one that I want to upload is the one for assets. Okay, so I select the assets folder and I select upload. Once that's done, then I go back again and I get the index folder and I go back to upload again and I select upload file and I go back and I upload the index.html file, and that's it. Okay, so that's if you use our Infinity Free. And I think it looks much better when we do that, and I'll show you why. But if you wish, I mean, you can go ahead and we can use, there's my personal one. So here's the page, the website that I showed you that I created. It looks pretty good. The only thing that's the downside to it is that the name of the URL for the website is art196spring2021.infinityfreeapp.com. That doesn't roll off your tongue. Now, there is a feature that we can use if you want and you buy a domain name. I'll show you one another day, how you can use the forwarding feature. So that what I can do is watch, if I go ahead and I put in here, this will probably go to one of my other websites, but you'll see. If I go to kmilleronline.com and I click return, notice it just takes me right back to here. So if I were to create a brand new, because to show you that what it's actually doing, if I click here, here's an empty web page, and I go ahead and I put in kmilleronline. So I purchased this domain name from GoDaddy. You don't have to use GoDaddy. And then I used their forwarding feature, that what it does is when you put in this particular URL, it will go to GoDaddy, and then GoDaddy will forward it to my Infinity Free account. And when the page pops up, you'll notice that it has the Infinity Free URL, but it looks pretty nice. I mean, you don't see any ads or anything for Infinity Free. And, you know, test it out, and you should be testing it using the little eye icon ahead of time to preview, and to preview it in a browser and make sure that it works. Okay, so for most of you, you will just be uploading an index.html, and you will be uploading the assets folder, and that's it. Now, the other one that I have is, let's go back here. This one, it's this one. There we go. So this is the other website that I created in hold on here. So in Mobirise. So let me go back over here and let's switch sites so you can see this. And this is the one right here. I'm going to switch for this is the fall 2021. And again, it was a single page website. It's taking a moment for it to load. Have a sip of tea while it's doing that. There we go. So here it is. Again, a single page website. And again, just as I had done before, I still have a nav bar, even though it's a single page. What I've done in the nav bar is I've linked each of these. That if I click, for example, on here, and we look at the link, you'll see that it goes to a block on the page where it says features 7 through 12. Now, likewise, for example, for the portfolio, if I click on there and I look at where the link is, it goes to the gallery. That's what the name of that particular block is named, so that it remains on the same page, but it just simply allows you to move up and down the page without having to scroll. Okay. So your other option now is, how do you want to publish this? If you want to publish this directly to Mobirise, then you just select this and you can go ahead and click publish and you're done. And that's it. It will be published online. And then what will happen is that once you do that, let me go ahead and cancel because I've already done that. I'm going to switch back over to here. So you can see that. Okay. So this is what it looks like published. But you can see along the top here, the only downside that we have is that it says, if you want to remove this banner, if I click here, it takes me to another page and it would cost me $2.42 a month to remove that. That's not a bad price, actually. Per site, that's only $29 a year. Okay. But again, it doesn't give you a unique domain name. If you want to connect to a domain name, you can do that from here as well. So the only downside for free is that you have this banner along the top, but notice that everything still works just fine. Now, I don't have on this one, I didn't turn on the smooth transitions from one section to another. Okay, but they're all working. They all work just fine. And it's just that banner, I think, gets kind of annoying. So those are the two ways that you have to publish your website. I recommend using Infinity Free. I think it will look a little bit nicer and it will give you a good experience for publishing a website using the cPanel. But if you just want to click publish and use Mobyrise, you are welcome to do so. Okay, so that's that. I guess that's really all I wanted to cover today. We can go back and we can go ahead and we can insert, let's get us started here. And let's go in here and let's select I don't know, I wasn't planning on doing this, so I'm not. Let's go ahead and I'm going to switch. I'm going to come down here, click anywhere inside the table. And what I want to do is I don't want to select the table per se. I want to select the section that wraps around it. Okay, so that's selected, and I'm going to switch again to design view. Let's make sure that the section is selected. And now what I can do is I can go ahead and I can hit the right arrow key on my keyboard. And that should take me right outside of it. And you'll notice that right here in the code view, it puts the cursor just right after the closing tag for section, but before the closing tag for the article. That's exactly where I want it. Now what I can do is I can go to File, and I can go to Import, and I want to import tabular data. This is the data that you would have in whatchamacallit, what is it? Excel spreadsheet. Okay, so I'm going to select that, and I need to find where is the data. I'm going to go ahead and locate it. It's inside our root folder. So if I go back inside, and it should take me to my root folder inside here. And if I look inside the resources folder, it will be classes CSV. That's the type of file that this is. Okay, so it's just nothing more than like an Excel spreadsheet. And now I can go ahead and I can open it up. Okay, and what we want to do is set to 100%. I don't want it to fit. What else do we want? Delimiter, comma, I think that's fine. I think that's okay. I'm not sure myself. Under border, we want 0. Make sure that that's selected. And now we can go ahead and import. And if I scroll down here, you can see that we have another table here. Okay. And because it is a table, if I come back and I switch from design view to live view, we have a brand new table. Now, the only problem with this table is that we have one more column than we had before. So we're going to have to now compensate for that and add a, select, I believe we're going to change some of these now. We're going to do what we had done before. Instead of date, we're going to have class, we're going to have description and length, day, and cost. Cost we already have. And then what we'll do is a class for each of those columns. And then again, in design view, I'll go ahead and I can select them like so. Am I in? No, I'm in live view. So I need to go back to design view. Okay. And I need to, click and drag them all. And then I need to, once I've created those classes, I need to assign them as I did before. And then we'll have everything working just fine, hopefully. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to live view. You can see that when I scroll down, okay, this one, this is a table, but it is, we haven't assigned a class to it. So this one should be, let's go ahead and do that. Everything else should work. Anyway, that's as far as I wanted to take it today, and we'll complete the styling of this on Thursday. Okay. And then also probably one of the hardest things that we'll do for this styling is to make it work properly on our small cell phone. Okay. So that's all I wanted to cover today. Short lecture. If you have any questions about publishing your Mobirise website, please don't hesitate to contact me. I'm going to make sure that this file, save all, is saved. And that's it for today. Okay. Don't forget, your Mobirise website is due Thursday. So I'm going to sign off and see you guys later. Okay. That's it. Bye-bye.